Hi there, my name is Fix Fox. Welcome to Heroes of Might and Magic 2. This is the FHeroes edition. We just completed Archibald campaign scenario 1, and we are now on to scenario 2. With that being said, let's dive right in and view the intro.
Excellent work, my good general. I think we've made an impression, don't you? The lords nearest us will certainly profess loyalty, although the more distant ones still waver. I think, however, we will require a second demonstration. In the frozen waste to the north of us, the Crashaw region, are a number of barbarian tribes that my father did not bother to conquer. These barbarians can be powerful if organized, but fortunately, they never managed it. I'm sending you there to conquer and unify them. They will make excellent foot soldiers in our efforts to put down my brother's rebellion.
I'm having a thought here. We talked in the last scenario about just how evil Archibald might be. Based off of that intro and based off of the preamble text here, I'm giving him only like a 4 out of 10 on the evil scale. Yeah, you're potentially conquering some otherwise peaceful barbarians, and you are planning on using them. You're a user to make them your foot soldiers. It's not the goodest thing I've ever heard, but it's not so evil. I could see Roland saying everything that Archibald said in that intro, and we wouldn't even bat an eyelash. Consider that. That being said, let's read the preamble. Scenario 2, Barbarian Wars. You must unify the barbarian tribes of the north by conquering them. As in the previous mission, the enemy is not allied against you, but they have more resources at their disposal. You will win when you own all of the enemy castles and there are no more heroes left to fight. We have our choice between starting off with the Necromancer faction, the Warlocks, or the Barbarians. I'm going to play with the Barbarians in this instance. The reason being is because Barbarian Wars, it kind of fits the theme. I assume that the enemies that I'm against are going to be strictly Barbarians, and if I can or if I can take their castles, I can then levy their troops against them, and they will just fit seamlessly into my army. So with that being said, difficulty, let's keep it on hard, and let's get to it. Well-placed bribes have won you a stronghold near the warring barbarians. Be advised that given their proximity, an unguarded castle is an open invitation to defeat. That is very similar again to Roland Campaign Scenario 2. And just like Roland Campaign Scenario 2, this is a tiny map. This is absolutely itty-bitty. Because we are playing as the barbarians, that bodes well for us. Granted, the enemies we are against are also barbarians, and so they have just as much of an advantage against us. But barbarians do get off to a good fast start. They fall off in the middle to late game, and so at least we will be playing strength on strength as opposed to weakness on strength. So, we have, it looks like we got a couple of nomads just to start with. For our hero, who is Thundax the Barbarian with his 19 goblins and his 4 orcs. We are going to click in here and get this spell book from the Mage Guild. Stoneskin, Bless, View Resources, excellent. And then I'm considering, do I get a second level Mage Guild? That seemed to work out fairly well in the last scenario. But this time I'm guessing that knowing that I have some troops here with the nomads, perhaps I should try and brute force the enemy as quickly as possible, get a nice quick start, so that way I am fighting less weeks worth of creature growth. And so I will get the den so I can pick up some wolves. I pick up the wolves over the ogres because I think to myself, I probably want to make sure that I don't buy ogres if I can help it. I really want to push and get ogre lords because the cost to upgrade an ogre into an ogre lord is exorbitant. So we might as well wait on the ogres until it's time to really get them and just save ourselves the money. It looks like we have only a few precious resources. We got plenty of ore, plenty of wood, which are very important because that's what barbarians primarily use, but only 5,000 gold to start out with. Well, I suppose it was 6,000, but well, maybe a little more because I already bought the wolves, but all the same. Gold is low at this moment, so let's pick up these troops. Let's arrange them as such. We'll keep the nomad stack split. I don't know what fights I'm going to end up fighting. My thought process is that there is a road here. Right now we don't have any penalty for walking on wasteland because, again, we have the normal secondary skill that all barbarians start with the advanced pathfinding. But the further we travel on the road, the more we might see. And I don't think I need any of these resources at the moment. So let's just see what we got here. Okay, so we'll just pick up a little bit of extra ore. I think I will pick up the extra gold. I do like these adventure map points of interest, these things that give flavor to the adventure map. The tar pit has no value, but it's pretty, it's cool, it looks nice. This here is a troll bridge. I think that you have to fight trolls in order to get them, but trolls are our 5th level shooter for the barbarian tribe. So I think that we are going to plan on heading that way fairly soon. I guess the question I have off the top of my head is, do I have enough army to take that out? I'm not very sure. So I have very little gold left. I think that getting a secondary hero, though, is the right move because there are so many loose resources here for me to capture. So far, it's been totally worth the effort. I went from 1,400 gold to about 6,300 gold, and that'll end day 1. If I assume that Jacqueline can pick up all these loose resources, I may just let her do so. I suppose that we need to look out for maybe an enemy busting through these orcs and then into my personal town. I think I'm actually going to do something that I don't usually do. I'm going to get a 3rd hero. Yeah, a 3rd hero. And I will get Airy the Warlock because he's got scouting and he's got these very fast troops with the gargoyles. I'm not going to... He already comes with the spell book, so he'll benefit from having the Stone Skin and the Bless just in case he gets into a fight. But otherwise, we are going to build the statue. And I'm going to send Airy out to these resources here to the south. Again, usually I don't do that, but I'm gonna make this happen this time. I don't believe that the enemy will generally start off with mines flagged. I think that generally they have to flag every mine that they get. So purple is right here. They have flagged this sawmill we can just barely see out of the fog of war, and that gives me some valuable information. And then, so if Jacqueline will go this way, perhaps I'll save that treasure chest so I can come back to it. It looks like there's a mine right here just out of the vision there. I'm going to pick up this witch's hut. Basic eagle eye. Fantastic. That was exactly what I wanted. And let's see what else we have. What are these halflings guarding? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so the halflings are guarding 2 genie lamps. That's excellent. I don't think we've seen genies in action yet. So in the 2nd and the 6th scenario of the Roland campaign, I am going to fight this fight. In the 2nd and the 6th campaign, you start off with genies, but I don't think we've ever come across the means by which you can recruit genies on the adventure map. It's very simple. You find yourself a genie lamp, and then if you have 650 gold and if you have the appropriate amount of gems, you get some additional troops. Excellent troops. They are very, very, very well worth the cost. I personally rank them somewhere between a paladin and a phoenix as far as their effectiveness, partially because they fly, partially because they have the ability to half a stack. I think it's 10% of a chance to do so. And so when we walk into them, you stumble upon a dented and tarnished lamp lodged deep in the earth. Do you wish to rub the lamp? I do. You are unable to recruit at this time. Your ranks are full. Okay, well, that was clearly my mistake. And that battle I just fought was fought very, very poorly. I mostly blame terrain, but at the end of the day, who's the one calling the shots? Me. Where does the buck stop? The buck stops with me. So I fought a poor fight. Oh my goodness, that is terrifying. Is that 2 heroes there? It is a very good thing we have these genie lamps nearby. It looks like you can get 3 out of this lamp, and then I think you can have anywhere from 2 to 4 genies from any one lamp. And it looks like that's another 3 genies here, and I'm going to recruit all of them. So we have 30 nomads, 6 genies, but we are very, very far away from our goal of maintaining our main town. The text at the very beginning did say an unguarded town is a bad idea, but I didn't think that we would really have to worry this much. I thought the battle would take place far from here. I will notice that for the first time we see a pack of Era Elementals. I believe that this artifact is either crystals or gems. I got that confused in an earlier playthrough of one of the Roland campaign scenarios. I would hate to get it wrong here. Let's forego the Mage Guild level 2 and start working on our backbone troops. The backbone of the Barbarian army is, of course, the Ogre Lords. I do need to get Airy out of here just a little bit, and so I'm going to have him just go far, far away from these enemies here. They do refuse to fight me, which I am all for. I think perhaps what I could do is ferry troops from home into my primary hero. Everybody except for the ogres, because I'm going to wait to upgrade them. What do I need still? I've got the wood, I've got the ore, I'm just going to need the gold. That's going to be worth the wait. Knowing that, though, I am going to purchase the upgraded stick hut. It's a very important upgrade. It is the difference between... it makes your orcs 50% as good for the low cost of 35 gold. You absolutely cannot miss on that choice. I do want to pick up these trolls in the troll bridge, though. Choices. We're going to have Airy pick up this wagon. I'll take the 4 gems. That's fantastic. It basically pays for all of the ogres, or all the genies that we just ran through. Is it important to get into this area? It doesn't necessarily look like it. A little bit of experience, the experience I would get from fighting, maybe 1 or 2 treasure chests. I think, though, that this gold mine I see up here might be even more valuable. There's no indication for how long these guardians are going to last here or here. So perhaps I should wrap around, get this mine, and clear into the gazebo and into the gold mine. Or, and I'm just spitballing here, or we can assume that this is the absolute strongest that we will ever be with this army, and we can play a game of Let's Trade Castles. I don't like to play Let's Trade Castles, but we might play Let's Trade Castles if we are unable to push through the enemy town in a timely manner and defend our own town. We will see. It will be very difficult for me to guess, but we will see. That's actually a little bit unfortunate. That was not my primary goal. I may be able to set up a relay where Jacqueline will get the troops over to Airy. Airy will get me the trolls out of the troll bridge, and then we will be happy with our choices at that point. So let's do that. Let's get the experience. Logistics or leadership? Tell you what, I think we're going to actually go with the leadership. And I love logistics. I love logistics. But I think that leadership is a good second option, and I think that the in-combat stats are going to be more important at this time. Plus, I'm already mixing army troops anyway, because I have barbarians and neutral creatures. Let's go with the leadership. Ooh. I think that because we've already maxed out our pathfinding on Cracked Earth, which is where we are primarily situated, we will go again with the leadership. That was an excellent treasure chest. I find it very hard to be sad about that. Let's take one step this way, because Thundax is almost out of movement points anyway. Let's do this switch we just talked about. And then let's have Airy fight this troll bridge. I think he should be able to fight these with no problem. 2 genies, that seems like a lot. It's probably not. It's probably not. I maybe should have left the wolves, so that way the wolves could have allowed me to split my stacks of genies. That was probably a mistake. It doesn't really matter which group we focus on here. I guess I already cast my stone skin. Let's focus on this bottom stack so the wolves can plug up this gap later. And we can just jam up these shooters as much as possible. Wow, genies are tough. There is one genie perished, though. If we can prevent another 16 damage from going on to him, I would gladly do whatever I could to make that happen. Yeah. Looks like this shouldn't be too much of a fight moving forward. We will take out this top stack. And then I believe that next turn the Nomad should be able to finish off these 3 trolls. I was wrong. I was wrong. So 1 genie, 1 wolf. That is much better. A few trolls remain cowering under the bridge. They approach you and offer to join your forces as mercenaries. Do you want to buy any trolls? I do. Just right now, I do not have room in my army for you. And we need to get these troops back to where they came from. Ta-da! I'll buy you now. Actually, will I? No, I think that we do wait. I am literally 20 gold off from getting my Ogre Lords. That will be a huge improvement. I say we do that. I believe that Ariel, this orange hero, that she will see this powerful army being so close to her, and she will not want to press forward towards my main town. And I don't have any regrets with that. I'm going to leave the wolves here so I can potentially split the stacks of genies later. I'm not sure which will be better, to split stacks of genies or nomads, but we will wait for the meantime. Otherwise, it's day 5. If there's a castle right here, I should be able to get to it before week or day 1 of week 2. Let's see if we can just hold on to our main town and keep ourselves alive. Let's wait for any buildings. Yeah, let's wait for buildings and then see where this takes us in just a second. Any of the freebies on the ground? I think that Jacqueline... I don't want to buy Jacqueline a spell book, so I think Aerie is actually going to be my primary defender here. So let's have her go back, and let's have Aerie... Let's have Aerie move next turn. Ariel is not dissuaded. Let's have Jacqueline pick up. Fight this fight, because I think she will absolutely destroy them. And then return the troops in a second. I think that I can probably do better than that. 2 orcs seems a little high. Let's take out these 10 orcs. The 3 dwarves are, I don't believe, are nearly as strong. I don't think I have to worry about that nearly so much. Never mind. I did the best I could do. I know that there's this other hero here. So long as Aerie stays alive, I think we'll be alright. Before I forget and spend all my money, let's make sure we get our Ogre Lords. I love Ogre Lords. Thematically, they are just a smart unit in the sense that they've got all this hit point, they've got all this damage. They're going to take a while to get into the fight, but when they do, they are going to be these lumbering powerhouses. I can't help but love that aesthetic, especially when you look at their other troops. Average speed, sure, but the fast wolves and the cyclopses that will really lead the charge, trying to get down the battlefield and do as much damage as quickly as possible. Then you have just these Ogre Lords who, they may take an extra turn or 2 to get across the battlefield, but when they do, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I absolutely love the role that Ogre Lords fill in the Barbarian army. I don't want Atlas to push through these sprites and then right into Aerie. I think that my best bet is to see if I can... So I can pick up 3 of these trolls now. And whatever trolls I don't pick up, I can still pick up at the beginning of next week. They will roll over. So I won't worry too much. Just for the sake of having flexibility, I'm going to keep only the gargoyles in his army right now. Just so he has potentially more movement points for later. Okay, Joe Josh the Barbarian, a few trolls, lots of goblins, several wolves, a few ogres, a pack of orcs. Yeah, this is the absolute best time I have to fight these fights. Oh, and I prevented Crag Hack and Joe Josh from meeting up. I cannot attack the main castle this turn, but they can't move to right here and then trade on the diagonal. They have to be right in front of the castle to trade. So if Craghack wanted to resupply Joe Josh, or if he had some artifacts that he wanted to send over, well, that's not going to happen right now. Wagon. You come across an old wagon left by a trader who didn't quite make it to safe terrain. Unfortunately, others have found it first, and the wagon is empty. Poor guy. So unlike the tar pit is just there for aesthetics. It just looks pretty. The watering hole, this water feature, actually is visitable, and it gives you an excellent bonus. We'll see that in just a second, but it gives you the opportunity to go further in one day. It's really pretty fun. It's really pretty nifty, considering the idea of dying of thirst in the desert. And oh, look, what's that? Off in the distance. Is it a mirage? No, it's not. I have my left turret. I have my right turret. I have my moat. This down just came pre-built with those. I think that I can take on this defender with Atlas. I doubt he's going to have spells, and to get through the moat, he's going to have to do a lot. That pack of orcs is not scaring me, not one bit. Okay. So we're looking at Joe Josh. Let's fight this fight first, and then we will look at going into the barbarian town, picking up whatever troops they have there, and then defeating Craghack. Oh my gosh! What in tarnation? You what? Excuse me? Excuse you. Alright. Okay. I'm going to have to check Joe Josh the Barbarian stats here. 5 attack compares to my attack quite well. 1 spell power, 1 knowledge, 1 defense. We are evenly matched. His ballista, his town defenses are meaningful and significant. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. Perhaps this is a good example of the value of the moat. The moat reduces by -3 the defense skill of any unit and slows the movement rate by half, right? So, okay, good to know. Perhaps this is an example of barbarians using that moat to their advantage. With 5 attack and with any of my creatures having -3 defense, they are going to put up a terrific fight and just really clobber these units. The nomads are my strongest stack. The genies are my most flexible. Yeah, I think that moat is probably going to be the most concerning aspect of this fight. Let's just set ourselves up for success by trying to stay smart here. We are going to keep losing genies. We cannot avoid that. Let's bless the genies. And because these wolves have already moved, I think that we will just take out this whole group of trolls, because now the genies are safe from the goblins and the ogres. And on the one hand, I feel like I have to push forward through the moat, and on the other hand, I am absolutely terrified to do so. I wonder if perhaps I can bait the enemy into coming out through the drawbridge and providing myself a way into their fortifications. I might as well use my 13 orcs against their 13 orcs. They're going to attack much better because I will be doing half damage shooting over the wall. Yeah, I do not want to go through that, but these defenses are going to absolutely shred my troops. I am going to lose another genie here. I can almost guarantee it. Tell you what, let's cast Stone Skin on the nomads so that when they move into the moat, they will still have the reduced defense, but we can mix it up with the combat and it'll more or less even itself out. Brutal. Well, I have a 20% chance to have the enemy, and I have not had good genie luck in all the fights I've ever had genies so far in any of my playthroughs. Let's get good luck right now and say no more on the matter. I mean, I did destroy half the stack, but that might have just been because one genie is very, very strong. Okay. All right. Well, you know, hey, I got what I wanted. All right, there goes my genies. Wow, that is such a terrible loss. I wonder Was I offered the chance to have ballistics? I think I was. And that might have been my biggest mistake, was not accepting ballistics. For the morale, I haven't had that be particularly valuable yet. I think I will at some point. So I did get out of the moat. That's fantastic. These wolves are doing me a huge favor by allowing me to attack them, because I should be able to clean all this up. I'm not going to lose the fight like I did the first time. And I'm grateful for that. Still accepting very, very heavy losses. All the same, though, this means I essentially have 2 barbarian towns against, I assume, 1 and 2 barbarian towns. Because I believe that there was 3, correct? I was against 3 enemy factions. So, okay, real quick, that watering hole that we had talked about. A drink at the watering hole fills your troops with strength and lifts their spirits. You can travel a bit further today. Look at my movement points. Boom. That's wonderful. That's quite the growth there. I'm going to see if there's anything else I can see. The Artesian Spring is pretty fantastic. It will double your spell points. For Thundax, for example, he's got 1 knowledge. He'll walk away from that with 20 spell points, which for a barbarian is pretty meaningful. If I can get him a 2nd point of knowledge, though, I would much prefer that to happen sooner rather than later. +1 defense skill for Jacqueline. I might as well take the leadership. And the gold. As much of the gold as possible, because Aerie is within striking distance of Atlas. Here's the deal, though. I have spell power and knowledge, but no decent spells. Perhaps if I get the Mage Guild level 2, I have a high likelihood, I believe, based off of some information that came my way via the FHeroes2 Discord about the way that spells populate the Mage Guilds. I believe that I am not guaranteed, but I have a much higher likelihood, because I don't have a magic arrow in the level 1. I have a much higher likelihood of getting a lightning bolt or a cold ray in my level 2. I'm going to bank on that. If I don't get it, that doesn't mean that the system isn't broken or is broken. It just means that sometimes you don't get lucky. Things don't work out quite the way you hope that they would. Whew. And in fact, I get both. I'm pretty happy with that. That means, in my mind, that I can fight this fight. I think I can fight this fight with what I have there. So let's make sure that we get the hardiest of the troops. Well, but I also want them to come my way. 10 Orc Chieftains are not particularly bad. Let's go with only 5, though. We are going to mix troops here, and so then the rest of the troops will go into Ogre Lords, and I suppose actually I can buy 2 more Orc Chieftains at that price. So I do have 3 shooters for this fight, 1 very fast flyer, and then the Ogre Lords will be making sure that nothing too terrible happens if they press me. Glorious victory. We'll take it. I do want to see if I can avoid losing 2 of those trolls, particularly because the auto combat does not take into account spell points. 75 points of damage there. Because I have the damage counter on, I can just mouse over and it will say that 7 of these orcs will perish, 1 of these ogres will perish, 3 of the wolves, etc., etc. I will take out the 7 orcs. I think that's the most efficient use of that spell. I think that these gargoyles may yet prove valuable in the future. I will have them wait, and next turn they will go and jam up these orcs. Let's make sure that these wolves, who are very fast, will not cause me as much grief as I think that they're thinking about doing. I would rather lose 7 centaurs than any of these trolls. And so we will move the shooter centaurs into a very defensive position. It will put them absolutely in the worst kind of way, but we will do it. At this point, I don't think that the wolves are going to turn tail and come towards my gargoyles. And these ogres are, unfortunately for them, far too slow. Oh no, they're not. 1, 2. Oops, they are not too slow. I'm going to have to use a lightning bolt on these ogres, because again, if I can save these very fast gargoyle flyers, I want to. I may yet save them. Let's take out some wolves. And I hope that I can kill... Yes, I can. It looks like I'll be able to take out one more of those Ogre Lords. Alrighty. We're in a good way. Let's abandon these 2 shooters for these 2 shooters up here. Unfortunately, the wolves will get some good damage off on the trolls, but so long as the trolls don't lose 40 hit points worth of trolls, they will regenerate at the beginning of every round of combat. Let's focus on the bottommost stack of orcs. Let's take out 1 full stack. I have 6 spell points left. That's 1 cold ray for 60 damage, so I do have this fight won. I am going to use the last of my spell points, which is usually inadvisable, but I will do so because I want to ensure the victory. I don't know if Atlas is a secondary or tertiary hero, but I don't want to risk losing any artifacts. I don't want to risk him coming back later to haunt me. He does not have any artifacts. I'm perfectly fine with that. I will actually pick up the pathfinding. It looks like Aerie now has surpassed Jacqueline as far as usefulness. There is the level 2 spell guild, mage guild that I have here in town. I think that is worth all of our time to make sure that he gets the opportunity to adventure forth as needed. I love that they did purchase these trolls. Unfortunately, I have no gold in my town to purchase anything. Why don't I have gold? Well, I spent it over here on Aerie in that fight. I don't think that that was the bad decision. Again, Thundax has leveraged the neutral troops that we were able to get at the very beginning of the game, and to great effect, that might be enough to really push my advantage and seal this game up sooner rather than later. So let's venture forth. We will accept a 6 goblin loss. And purple player has been vanquished. Terrific. I have no complaints about that. I do need to get Jacqueline over in this area as soon as possible. I wonder. Thundax does have diplomacy. I don't want to purchase these orcs, but if I can go to this watchtower and hit this goblin hut, perhaps I can clear out these orcs, and then Jacqueline can slip through and help me pick up water wheels and things of that nature. I just don't want her to go the whole long way around. Unfortunately, she cannot use the watering hole again until she does participate in one more combat. Do I want to pick up the water wheel now? Actually, I think I do. I think that I will let Thundax pick up the water wheel himself, because then I can potentially pick up some troops in Ross Common, visit the graveyard, get an excellent artifact, get the watchtower anyway, and move forward with my plans. Yep, no complaints. And we do not have an alliance with the dwarves. We have to remember that. That was the last campaign. Dwarves hate our guts now, and we hate dwarves. And there's no getting around that. Don't forget. Okay. This is a fantastic artifact. This is the Arcane Necklace. That's a +4 to spell power. The thing is that for a barbarian, yeah, right now I don't see that being much of a benefit to Thundax. Was there a mage guild here? There was. Haste is good. Cure is good. Curse is good. I wanted to stop by to get troops anyway. I will pick up some trolls. I wish I could upgrade these orcs. I will probably wait until a later date to do so. And then who would be my next best bet? Probably... I might as well take these goblins. A large stack of goblins is never a bad thing. They must be dealt with. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a really, really rough time. Let's send Jacqueline. Let's check here. I do not have a mercury mine, an alchemist lab. I don't have my ore coming in. I don't have sulfur. I don't have crystal. I don't have gems. Right now, I don't have anything. I may just plan on these being my only 2 mage guilds. My level 2 here in Burton and my level 1 here in Roscommon. However, I will need ore. Even though I have 24, I don't want to forego that ore. However, if there's an enemy right here in the darkness, I really need Aerie to have 20 spell points. So, unfortunately for that reason, even though I'd really like to get my ore mine right now, he's going to have to go into the town so that he can replenish his spell points. There's nothing else to be done about that. Let's send Jacqueline this way. It'll be a little bit slower than if I could walk her to right here and then push through, but maybe not that much slower. And otherwise, let's have everyone spend the night. Okay, Ari has what he needs. Let's have him go into the ore mine. If the enemy picked up this gold mine, I would be very concerned. Because they didn't, I'm not nearly as worried. I'm not here to say that I'm happy about it, but it could be worse. That is the second witch's hut with Eagle Eye. This one has Eagle Eye, and this one has Eagle Eye. To be fair, the faction that can best use Eagle Eye is certainly going to be the Barbarians, in the sense that they can have a very, very low investment with basic Eagle Eye, where they can use their 20% chance to learn a first or second level spell from an enemy. For example, if this enemy here in Roscommon, they cast Curse on me, if they'd also cast a Haste, if they'd also cast the Cure, there's a chance I could have picked up those spells without having beaten that battle. The only issue is that I would only get access to those spells after the combat was over. I can't learn new spells mid-fight. I did want to pick up these orcs. That took me from 13 to 25. That might be enough to win this graveyard. That might be enough to win this graveyard. 100 zombies. I have 5 attack and 2 defense. I've got 2 sets of shooters. I'd better wait. If I had some ogre lords, I would feel pretty comfortable about it. I do not. I will worry about that a little bit more. And I will wait. Ooh, Hill Fort. That's fantastic. With the Hill Fort, I get the opportunity to upgrade creatures for free. And free is incredibly valuable. Knowing that, actually, I'm going to pick up... Wait. Hill Fort, Hill Fort, Hill Fort. Hill Fort will do orcs and ogres into orc chieftains and ogre lords. So this town here, I can purchase with impunity these orcs and these ogres. I will actually leave the wolves, and I will max out those 2 stacks of creatures. I do not have any additional trolls, but I can buy... Oops. What else could I buy? Nothing. That's fine. I don't think we're going to get to Cyclopses this game. I think that this is going to be an absolute blitzkrieg of a fight. We are here to shock and awe the enemy. And the only other thing that I can think that might be to my advantage in this instance is that perhaps, no guarantees, but perhaps, there's still 2 enemies on the battlefield. And they are fighting themselves right now. And they are evenly matched and taking each other down slowly but surely. That would be absolutely ideal for me. And then I can just kind of walk in and clean up the pieces that are left. Yes, that would work well. I better pick up the bridge in my main town. I have the resources for it. It will bankrupt me for now, but I've purchased all the troops that I feel like I need to at the moment. Okay, there's yellow Aragon. So long as I can get to the hill fort before he turns and he fights me, I think I'll feel okay. So let's actually make sure that our movement points are moving us close to him, but not to the point where he can actually circle back and take me out. Might as well pick up free experience where we can. Ballistics. I wish I had that on my main hero. And then right now, I do want to keep Ari at home as much as possible. I really do. But we may be... It's day 6, so 1, maybe 1, and then 2 turns. Perhaps Thundax we can backdoor 1 more barbarian town. It's possible. It is possible. I don't think there's much else for me to do at the moment. Let us carry on with our devilish plan. Okay. So, huge upgrade. 44 orcs to orc chieftains, 6 ogres to ogre lords. That is quite the upgrade. And let's actually have, well, Let's have Jacqueline sitting on the goblin hut. She'll pick them up. She'll pick up the orc chieftains, and we'll see if we can do a swap. It'll be a little bit difficult just because in the swap we're going to have orc chieftains and orcs, but let's see if we can move some additional troops. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. But Aerie can get back. And we've got a full another week's worth of creatures to purchase. We have full defenses, and we have some spells. So let's just purchase this town out now, starting with our shooters, then our ogres. We are out of money at this time. We may be trading for other troops. We will see. I'm going to just stop in here. I was hoping that would actually be gold. And we are only going to move over these 6 goblins. I think that that's the best we can do. We're not going to worry about other troops. Okay, we are not going to get to another town this turn. There's Aragon. I almost wonder if I should have stopped at that witch's hut. Hard to say. He should be able to get home right now. But there is yellow, there is orange, and so they have, I believe, been fighting each other, much to my delight. What other troops do I want before we call it a day? I am going to... I'm going to take 1 wolf, just so I have 1 troop on the battlefield that will give me a speed advantage, and then 2 more Ogre Lords. I do like this battle. If I can just hold my towns and keep generating gold and keep generating troops, I'll be happy. Oh, that's actually very unfortunate. I did not anticipate that he would go that way. I thought he would go and try to defend his town. I don't know what defenders are in the town, but I assume that they are full to the brim. Perhaps my best bet is not actually to try and take this town since it's a new week. Perhaps my best bet is to go after Aragon, since he's probably... If I can take out his army and then sprint over to Ruby, I think that's probably going to be my best bet. We are going to stop in this witch's hut. We're not going to learn diplomacy again. Let's fight this fight. First glance, I have the superior amounts of troops. 6 attack, 2 defense, 5 knowledge. Oh my word. Look at this guy go. Oh my word. If I want to, I can haste my nomads, and they are going to get across the battlefield in 1 go. For 3 haste, I think that's not a bad use of my abilities. I really like that move, going from even just, 4 potential damage down to 3 for those orc chieftains. There's enough orc chieftains there that I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's take out some of their shooters, because I can always get these nomads out of there if they were to come after me. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 speed. So I don't have to worry about these Ogre Lords attacking me next turn unless they get good morale or they do get a haste. They might. We'll see. I think even if I had known that I was going to get good morale, I wouldn't have moved myself into position to take that first strike. There's a chance I'm going to lose a lot of goblins when that stack of Ogre Lords comes my way. Let's take out as many of these as I can. And let's actually haste the goblins. I do want to maintain this stack of nomads. I think that's going to be very, very important. 1 to 3. 1 to 3 Ogre Lords. And my goblins will go next. The nomads have 9 defense, whereas the goblins have 4. So the retaliation is going to hurt a lot less on these nomads than it will on the goblins. So we're going to do that. I don't know how many enemies the goblins will kill here, but I think that I'm going to take out these shooters just so I can simplify the game in that regard. I had hoped my shooters would go first. 18 goblins, not too bad. 3 nomads, I'm maintaining that power stack. I'm okay with that. And then let's rush across the field to head off Ruby, and perhaps even if we need to, we can, if she runs that way towards what I assume is their castle there, we can perhaps meet them on the field of battle. Again, though, I'm winning this fight because I've got 2 towns that are giving me growth right now, and I don't think I have any purchases I want to make in either of them. I don't want to upgrade my stick hut or my adobe. I don't want to upgrade my bridge at the moment. I just want the troops. So let's carry on. Okay, excellent. I think that I now will be able to carry out my plan of fencing in Ruby. I don't think that that's a particularly difficult army to overcome, especially with whatever I still have here. Yeah, I can buy 8 of these Ogre Lords. I can buy 5 more Wolves. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good army. Because I've already got the very fast Wolves, what good will the Gargoyles do? They will be able to get across the battlefield in one go and jam up some shooters. Is it worth taking them for the -1 morale? I think so. I'm not so worried just having no morale, neither positive nor negative. I think that that'll be sufficient for my needs. Well, if I go this way, then Ruby is not going to want to push this way, and I won't waste as many turns trying to chase them down, and they cannot get my town from here. It's a night. They're going to be on wasteland. Unless they already have pathfinding, I should be set there. Let me sit here so that way I won't give up any trolls, and next turn I can buy a few trolls as well. Yellow purchased a new hero. I am going to pick up this witch's hut. Basic archery, not bad. I do want to make sure I get the experience. I do want to make sure that I get the opportunity to be better for whatever fight comes next. Basic ballistics is fantastic. That's exactly what I want, exactly what I need. I'm going to take 4 of these trolls, and then we're going to fight this battle right now. 15 trolls, that is a good army. I'm going to accept these losses. The 1 wolf, the 1 orcs, and I wipe them off the battlefield. That's just fine for me. We will actually take the mysticism here, as opposed to the advanced wisdom, because I don't plan on getting any more levels of my mage guild. Perhaps there's some nice clumps of artifacts here, just like there is here. I don't think it's worth the time to wait another week to make that happen. I think I can get Thundaxe fully stocked with all these troops. And with this army, I think, and the basic ballistics, I think I can turn area around and just start ferrying troops from Roscommon, Burton, into the hill fort, and then I can start cleaning up this game. Crag hack. A pack, several lots, few. If I have advanced ballistics, I feel much better about this fight. Much better about this fight. Let's fight it. Even if I sustain heavy losses, I'll still have 3 castles against 1. And I wasn't even taking heavy losses there. I will fight the fight just to make sure, see how things go. Mostly I'm worried about the attrition from the natural enemy defenses. That's my biggest concern. I think if I can keep my stacks of, well, which are they going to target? If it was me, I would target the Orc Chieftains. I'm actually going to wait our turn of combat just to see what the ballistas indicate is their biggest threat. And then we will see. We'll see what to do. Because of that, I'm going to stone skin my nomads so that we can get into the moat and go from there. Okay, the enemy value is taking out stacks of Orc Chieftains. I don't think that's a bad decision. I really don't. I will shoot for these 14 Orcs Chieftains. I will anticipate the Ogre Lords coming out next turn. If I can take out these wolves, then these nomads don't have to be stuck in the moat any further. And then they can ride at these Ogre Lords' backs. I already stone skinned them once. You can't stone skin them twice. You can stone skin them and steel skin them, but I don't anticipate that we're going to be doing much of that. This might be a prime time for a curse, actually, on these ogres. Oh, nope. Nomads do 2 to 5 damage. Max damage on the nomads would have probably been better. If I could have that one back, I wish I could. I wish I could. But at this point, I think we're going to push in, knowing we're going to still take heavy losses from these goblins. I think I have enough shooters to support the nomads. There we go. Crag Hack must not be a very strong hero. Well, I mean, he's got 4 attack. He just has no defense. He just has no defense. So maybe that curse was actually more valuable, knowing that the Ogre Lords were already pretty weak defensively, but offensively, that's where the threat really was. Okay, we're going to take the advanced ballistics. Orange player has been vanquished. Let's pop into this town where we're going to stay overnight, replenish our spells, and then we're going to start to head over to our enemy over here, the yellow enemy, knowing that they have 1 hero here at the end of this road. 4,600 gold. Do I need an additional hero? Do I need 1 hero in Roscommon to push north? It couldn't hurt. I think that Aerie can do... I think that Aerie can shoulder the weight of that heavy logistical burden, though. So, no other purchases to be made there. Let's get whatever troops we can. It is day 6. Perhaps Thundax will pick up this mercenary camp, which will be the +1 to attack, and then he himself will go to Greywind and Burton, while Aerie grabs troops there and then upgrades them at the hill fort. We will see what this enemy does. Jezebel. That's pretty good army. We may have to push the tempo a little bit before we get to that point. Might as well pick up Crystal. Actually, that was a terrible decision. There's no reason to pick up Crystal here. We are not trying to win an economic war here. All we are trying to do is, within the next 7 days, beat the enemy down, siege their castle, and win. There's nothing else that we want to do. There's nothing else that we should do. This is a little interesting to me. I have 20 trolls. That's a lot of trolls. I have 22 Ogre Lords. That's a lot of Ogre Lords. I don't see how I can possibly lose this fight. I thought that Jezebel would stay far from me. I'm going to fight this fight. The enemy has fled after they took out only 2 of my trolls. I'm going to accept that result. I'm going to assume that there was not a whole lot else I could have done. I'm not quite sure what the enemy was thinking there. I'm really not quite sure. Let's make our one final push, make our final purchases, and go from there. Starting with ogres, then trolls, then 6,400 gold left, and then the orcs. I already have goblins here. Any other troops to buy? Might as well buy whatever wolves I can. And let's head north to this hill fort. And I'm smelling a victory. This gold mine has been tremendous for us. I don't think I'm even going to go pick up troops elsewhere. I think I'm going to have sufficient. I think I have enough. I'll stay just in range of where I believe Aerie can deliver to. Ooh, close. All these troops go over. Do I want the 29 wolves or do I want the nomads? 2 to 5 damage, 3 to 5 damage, 7 attack, 6 defense, 6 attack. So better defense for the nomads. They're just as fast. They do a little less damage than the wolves on average. And I've already got the expert leadership, so my morale is terrific. But it could always be a little bit more. That's a good point of interest, though. Does morale positive cap out at blood? Does it cap out at a +3? Or does the +1 on top of the +3 actually matter? It's a good question, and I don't know the answer. I think I will take the extra 9 wolves over the nomads, though. I do think that will work in my favor. Okay. One more turn. Let's fight this fight. It's glorious combat, but let's fight the fight all the same. This game was really a matter of getting out and getting that early enemy town. If I hadn't have done that, this whole thing would have fallen apart. Truly, these small maps, you must press your advantage as early as possible. If you try and sit back in your castle and just outgrow the enemy, you will never do it. You are a predator. You are not prey. If there's packs of coyotes attacking a whole ton of rabbits in the desert, yeah, I'm sure that the rabbits can just outbreed the amount of rabbits that coyotes can eat. But here's the deal. You are not rabbits. You are predators. So, you do not stay in your castle. You do not outbreed them. You absolutely press your advantage and you go for the throat. So, if you've heard nothing inspiring from anyone today, just remember this. You are not a rabbit and you're not going to just outbreed the enemy. Go for the jugular. Yellow player has been vanquished in this major event. That should be the end of this scenario. And it is. So folks, we are now going to take a look at scenario 3 and scenario 4 next time. That was scenario 2 that we just completed. This will be the first choice that we have within the Archibald campaign. Will we do scenario 3, Necromancers, or scenario 4, Slay the Dwarves? Ooh, I'm excited to see what those opportunities are. I'm sure that this is where we're going to be able to pick up our first award. And in the meantime, we will try and figure out, again, how evil is Archibald. So far, so good. Still, I'm going to stick with him as like a 4 out of 10. I'm sure that we will see that level go up and down as the campaign goes. Until that time, my name is FixFox. Thanks for being here, and I'm out.